Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hello.
All right, guys, we're back. There are things to talk about, but I thought I would start with a funny little story.
The murder trial.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, the murder trial that I was not a part of. I was just on the jury. You can listen to the latest preview episode on Black and Black Cinema about the details of that. It's actually kind of fucked up and a sad story, but interesting nonetheless. But so the other thing here is, so we signed my daughter up and ourselves up for the pool now for the summer, right? It's a year-long pass, actually. And it has an indoor pool and it has an outdoor pool, right? And so we took her to go swimming that day that we signed up. And like the pool the part where she could swim didn't open until like 2:00. And we signed up at like 10. And so we went back home, and apparently my daughter asked my wife, like, are we going swimming today? And my wife is like, yeah, we're going later on today. And she's like, well, who's going? And she says, well, me, you, and Daddy. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, my wife says, yeah, just the three of us. And my daughter starts belting out, just the three of us, we can make it if we try. She just starts fucking singing. And my wife, trying desperately not to encourage that sort of ridiculous behavior, tried so hard and failed, of course, and not laughing.
Yo,
but
that's pretty damn funny.
She listens to everything. If you play a song, she listens to the fucking lyrics. She's like, all right, I got it. So, yeah, she's a fucking funny kid.
Yo. I wish Maxwell would listen to some fucking Bill Withers. He's singing the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friend song. Like, all right, guys. All right.
That was my plan, is to introduce that. That was going to be my first Marvel thing to introduce her to.
Oh, he loves Spider-Man.
Yeah, because she's a Spider-Man fan as well, but like only because I like Spider-Man. Like that's like she has a couple of Spider-Man toys or whatever. But I've shown her the image and she's just like, oh yeah, like that looks fucking cool. I do like that. Like her Spider-Man in her mind is Miles Morales. Like that's the Spider-Man she like really knows. You know, so it's like, because like most of the Spider-Man toys are Miles, but she really likes the look of Spider-Gwen too. Which that costume is fucking dope as shit. So I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. So yeah, Andy was just telling me that it's really, really good. His kids are all about it too. So yeah, I will check it out. All right, so let's get into it. You watched Licorice Pizza. You're in your Oscar bag right now.
Yeah, I've watched 7 of them. I'm gonna watch Belfast tomorrow. Oscars are Sunday, so I don't know if I want to watch West Side Story. I looked at
it's on HBO Max, man. You can just watch it like
it's on HBO Max. It's on Disney Plus. It's also 2.5 hours, and I don't know if I want to watch a 2.5 hour movie about some people, some white people in Puerto Rico singing and dancing and sharking and jetting it up. Like if I want that, I'll just watch the Beat It video. You know what I'm saying?
That's a better white people versus, or like Latins versus black people war, right?
Yeah, man. Like I'll rather watch that and then just Michael Jackson bringing everybody together.
That's one of the most ridiculous scenes in a music video of all time. Like, what are you doing?
And then drive my car, which I heard is a slow burn at 2 hours and 59 minutes. But that's a foreign film, yo.
Yo, JTD was like, yo, drive my car really gets going. If it really does get going at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I saw that, man. I was just like, yo, I might just have to like, I'm just not watching this shit. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
What is Best Picture? Then I'll watch.
Yeah, then I'll go back and watch it. Right.
But nah, yo.
That's generally what I do. If I haven't seen it, I just go back and watch that one.
Yeah, so I watched Licorice Pizza. It's the latest film from Paul Thomas Anderson. It's the story of Alana Kane and Gary Valentine growing up and running around and going through treacherous navigations of love in the San Fernando Valley of 1973. It's a coming of age.
Wait, where'd you find that log line on Google?
No, it was that's IMDb where I pull all of them from.
Ugh.
That was the short one.
Jesus.
And it's a pretty good movie. It's got like a Wonder Years vibe to it, but I think it's just the setting and the way it like looks, you know what I mean? But there's some problems with this movie. Depending on like how much of where your morality is and how much of a bigot you are, like there's some problems, right?
So I've heard.
One of the things is that the main character, the two main characters, Alana Kane and Gary Valentine. Gary is a child actor, and he's 15 years old, played by a relative newcomer named Cooper Hoffman. Incidentally, I think Cooper is 19. And Alana Kane is played by Alana Haim, who is a newcomer to acting, but apparently is like in a band called like Jaime or something like that. I don't know.
Wait. What's the name of the band? That cannot.
It's called Haim.
All right. I'm like,
it's called Haim.
All right. I was like, yo.
And I'm being a bit of a racist.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, that's a wild band name.
They are of Israeli descent. I apologize.
Okay. Because they would be allowed, by the way, if that were they are of Israeli descent, but it's not cool. Like that's not I mean, there's an Asian band called the Slants, right? Like there are.
Right. I apologize. I grew up in Pikesville. I'm not allowed to say it, but sometimes it slips out. Okay?
Wow, he uses it all the time. Is what he's telling you guys. Amazing.
I apologize.
Around his other friends, it's okay when they're not around, right, Micah? Bigotry.
It's she plays Alana Kane. Her character is 25 years old, so there's a 10-year age gap between the main character male and the main female lead. And I just wonder,
Question. Do they have sex in this movie?
No, but he really wants to, and
does she kiss this dude?
Yeah.
Double standard, unacceptable, dude. It's unacceptable, dude. Don't try to make me into like a men's right activist type of fucking piece of shit. We'll be shitting on those guys later on this episode. But dude, if it was a 25-year-old guy and a 15-year-old girl, knock it off, man. We would not be like, Paul Thomas Anderson made a great movie. You'd be like, Paul Thomas Anderson is a fucking pedophile. It's unacceptable, It's unacceptable. Knock it off, Gross, man. That's not cool.
It is. Cool. It is. Cooper Hoffman. I did not know Cooper Hoffman was Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. So, and it makes sense because he kind of looks like him.
Oh, I miss Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I do as well. And look, this kid is a very good actor, man. Like all the performances, save for one, are very, very good in this movie. I can see why people like it. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. Of the movies that are nominated for Best Picture, it's not my favorite. It's not 1 or 2 or 3.
Wow.
Or 4. So, and I've seen 7 of them. So it's but it's a pretty good movie. But there's one thing in it that maybe it's just me getting old, right? Maybe it's just me getting old, but like, these two scenes had nothing to do with the story, nothing to do with the plot, nothing to do with anything, right?
I mean, considering your statement earlier, I thought you would be really into these scenes. It turns out.
Considering my internet history, no, I am not into making fun of these people. But
that's why. That's a wild statement. That's not personally my cup of tea.
John Michael Higgins plays a character in this movie, and he is a Los Angeles businessman who opened an Asian themed hotel and restaurant. It was incidentally, it was the first restaurant in the San Fernando Valley with like an Asian theme to it. And at one point, he is talking to a woman who is going to advertise this restaurant, and they're going back and forth, and his Asian wife is sitting next to him. His Asian wife does not know English, And John Michael Higgins goes and he translates what the woman with the advertiser is saying to his wife, but he translates it in English. Like he translates it as Kamiko, what do you think? I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
I love that it has nothing to do with the plot. They're just
it's got nothing to do with the plot. It's just Paul Thomas Anderson's idea of a joke, and you know, people were like, yo, what the fuck, yo, like what's up with that? And he was like, no, it's no big deal. Like, people used to talk like that. Like, I'm not saying it's cool. You know, people used to talk like that. He's a dumb character. Yeah, but no, yo.
Like it's not necessary.
It's not necessary. It feels like a shot for no reason.
Like, when I first saw the scene out of context, like my immediate thought was, ooh, I get why, because like I saw it, like an Asian person posted it, and they were like, "Yo, what the fuck, Paul Thomas Anderson? Yo, fuck you." And I'm like, wow, like I get it, because I was like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed because it's ludicrous. Like it's supposed to be ludicrous, right? And I laughed because I was like, yo, this is some wild bullshit, right? But
right, you're laughing at the ignorant white dude, right?
Right. I'm not laughing at any Asian person, right? But
right,
because there's nothing that the Asian person is doing is laughable, right? They're just sitting there. But I laughed because it was so ludicrous. But then the first thing I thought, because I'm like, I try to be a person of nuance. I'm like, what is the context of this scene, right? Like, I'm watching it completely out of context. And that's one thing I don't like to do, is like try to make too much commentary on like a clip of a film I've not seen, or, you know, unless I talk to someone I trust and like, what is the context of this, right? But I didn't know what the context was. So I was just like, I'm not going to comment and be like, man, this is fucking racist, right? Because it could be the context, like, this is a villain, this guy does this, and then someone comes in and is like, hey, you piece of shit, you're fucking fired, you lost your job, right? Like, where you're like, you point at, you use that ignorant moment to then use it to just smash down that type of character, like immediately or within the film, then I don't really have a problem with it, right? If that character gets his comeuppance and stuff like that, I understand those kind of things. Some people don't like that, and I understand that they don't. I'm just not that hardlined about things like that. But you're telling me, and you're a person I trust about the context, that there is no context to that scene. That's the whole scene, which is fucking
just
weird.
Form of a joke, yo. It's just his form of a joke. And look, I love offensive humor. I really do. I'm not like so taken aback that this kills the movie for me. It's terrible. Like, no, the movie was fine. I enjoyed the movie well enough. But I was like, whoa, like it just, like it was there for no reason. And like you said, if it was there for a reason,
right,
that's fine. But like I put myself in those shoes, right? Like, what if John Michael Higgins was married to a black woman and then started speaking in jive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't like that shit.
I'd feel some kind of way about it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be like, fuck this movie forever, but I'd be like, fuck this movie. You know what I mean?
Now, if he did that and a black woman turned around and smacked the shit out of him, I'd be like, that scene was all right by me, right? Like, it's just context.
I'm all for it, right?
Right. They should show this at the Oscars every year, right? Like, so that's fine.
I recently rewatched Django Unchained, and the scene where all the fucking there's a lot of fucking Klansmen there, right? Like, there's a lot of racism there. But like they get their fucking comeuppance.
Yeah, they do.
And they're showing us fucking goofballs and dummies and assholes. And well, who's in charge of the bags, right? Like they're all showing us fucking buffoons and shit. So
which was a smart move on Tarantino's part, right? Like, you hate these guys because you should historically hate them unless you're a fucking racist, right? Which would be weird to even go see the movie. But given an opportunity, he cuts them down as total buffoons. And then you're not laughing with them. You are totally laughing at these fucking moron rednecks. And that's where you go, okay, that scene was fine. And then they get fucking murdered and you're like, double down. This is great, right? So yeah, like, but you have to give the characters that they're going after, you have to give them some level of, you have to make those bad characters get some level of comeuppance. Otherwise, it just feels like you're just shitting on people for no reason.
Yeah. So the movie as a whole is fine. I don't have a problem with it. I think I enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it more than Power of the Dog? I don't think I enjoyed it more than Power of the Dog, but it's like hovering around there, right? Like,
right.
It's fine.
I haven't heard you. I haven't heard you being too impressed with anything so far from the Oscar movies.
I really like the next movie, which is Coda. I actually really liked it, and
I've heard great things about it.
This is a great movie, and you know why it's a great movie? It takes a very familiar story. Like you can guess the story, right? You can guess what happens at the end if you know as you watch it, you can guess what happens at the end.
What is the premise?
Well-worn story. So Coda is a term that stands for child of deaf adults. Right. And this is another coming of age comedy drama, right? And it is, let's see, as a Coda, Ruby is the only hearing person in her deaf family. When the family's fishing business is threatened, Ruby finds herself torn between pursuing her love of music and wanting to go to Berklee College of Music and her fear of abandoning her parents, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a very good summary of the movie. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't know why people aren't really talking about it more. Like I've heard people talk more about Licorice Pizza than this. I don't understand why. I really enjoyed Coda. Like I said, it's a story where you know the ending, right? You know the ending. You could probably guess the ending even just by reading that description. But performances were stellar, right? All of the deaf actors. I don't know if the son was deaf, the older brother, but all the deaf actors, like Marley Matlin is the mother.
I love her.
Yeah, like all of the deaf actors. I'm not deaf, but as a non-deaf person, I feel like deaf people were done right, because they're just like regular people. They're just regular people, and they do everything that all of the regular people in the movie, all the not regular, but all the hearing people do in the movie.
Right,
they're just deaf.
Right. Look, let me tell you something. I have been a super fan of Marley Matlin since, I'm trying to think, when did I first have a crush on her? I want to say it was West Wing, but that is definitely before that. Like she was also on West Wing. I've always thought she was awesome. And now I'm reading that she... Oh, okay. Whew, thank God. I thought it said she backed Donald Trump. I was like, get the fuck out of here. No, okay. Got it. Oof. Woo! She backs Deaf Association's White House lawsuit. Fair enough. That's fine. It's fine. I get it. No, she's great. And she is an actress who, you know, she has some ability to speak, obviously, but I love that she is often not played as a handicapped person. Like she has always played characters like, yeah, she's deaf, but like she still does, like she is a very capable person. Like she's always played characters like that, which I've always loved about her. And I like that Hollywood has always treated her in that way, which has been very cool.
And I appreciated that it treats the deafness not as like, it doesn't treat it as it acknowledges it, but it doesn't treat it like a superpower, right? Like it doesn't treat it like, this is probably a poor comparison because like that's a supernatural film, but what's the movie with Mr. Fantastic and Mrs. Fantastic? John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. What's that movie with the aliens?
Oh, yeah, the one that can't talk. I've never seen any of those, but I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, like that. I appreciate what it's doing, but it's treating deafness almost like a superpower, right? And it's going like in the other direction. And it's not, like I said, it's not a really good comparison because that's a supernatural movie. But like, these people, they're a loving family, right? The mom and dad love each other, right? To the point where they can't stop fucking in that movie, right? Like they
I mean, look, I get it. Look,
right? Like the dad is like, yo, look at your mom, yo, like.
Look, he's like, my ears don't work. My eyes do work. Knock it off. Like, knock it off.
So I encourage people to actually check this out, man. Like it's free on Apple TV if you have that subscription service. And I really enjoyed it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. Like that's why I waited so long to watch it, because I didn't think I would enjoy it. But I also didn't know too much about it.
Much like Turning Red, you thought you could not possibly connect with these people because you were not a deaf person or a Asian Canadian cartoon
Or a panda.
or a red panda. Like, how could you possibly connect to these stories?
Yeah, turns out you can connect with human stories because like we're human. But
Yo, well, that guy should fire himself from Cinema Blend. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, he's seen a lot of episodes of Law and Order. Maybe he's qualified for that.
From time to time. He doesn't watch all of them, just from time to time. What an idiot. So I almost forgot that I watched. So my wife and I often will just, well, let me rephrase that. My wife never knows what to watch. And she likes to just like go on a service and just go through and try to find something, which is maddening to me. I'm like, I read and know about movie and TV literally all the time. Here is an array of things that just came out. Just watch one of these. But we do that sometimes on Friday nights, and sometimes we find gems, right? Things we hadn't seen that we're maybe interested in. And one of them was on HBO Max. We watched Enough Said. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. This is the one of two movies that were released after James Gandolfini died, right? This came out in 2013. It's with James Gandolfini and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's very good. It is a very, very good movie. It's very cute. The premise is Julia Louis-Dreyfus is she's like a masseuse, and James Gandolfini's character like works at a museum of like television history, right? They're both nice people. They're both divorced, divorcees, and they meet, and like, she's not attracted to him because he looks like James Gandolfini, and he's pretending like he's not attracted to her because you should lie. Like, you know what I mean? Because she literally says like, I'm not attracted to anybody at this party. He's like, yeah, me either. Like, right. But she actually gets to know him, and she goes on a date with him. And everything is good. Like, she's like, actually, like, he's kind of this like fat schlubby guy who isn't like a particularly material guy. But he's funny, and he's got this great personality. And she starts being the masseuse for this woman at the same time, who's like this rich fancy lady. And it turns out that's actually his ex-wife, but she doesn't know it at the time. And so she starts to like really befriend this woman, and then realizes halfway through their friendship that she's actually dating this woman's ex-husband. And she's thinks that it's a good idea to kind of stay friends with her to find out more about James Gandolfini's character. Like, what kind of person is he really? But she's actually being tainted by this woman who's kind of an asshole. Right. It's a good story. It's a really kind of a cool thing, because like one of the things that it does is it like shows about like people in like our age group, right? Because they're supposed to be like mid-40s, I guess. Like what it's like to be with people, like to start dating other adults at that age, and like the kind of come as you are. Like James Gandolfini is who he is, and he's like, I'm not changing. Like I'm like 45 years old. I'm not changing. And it turns out like he doesn't need to, because he's like this good dude. And like she kind of has to learn that lesson. He has to learn to be a little less rigid. It's a good movie though. Like it sucks that guy died so young. Because it's like this movie proves his range, right? Like if you only seen him in Sopranos, like, and seeing him in this, like they're wildly different characters. Like Tony Soprano is like this hard piece of shit guy. You're like, this guy's kind of fucking terrifying. Where this guy is like a total teddy bear. Like it just shows his range. And he was like really funny. Like he had some like really good comedic moments and stuff like that. But it's really good. Enough said if you haven't watched it on HBO Max. So, and it was just sad to watch it. I'm like, he died like right before this came out. Like a couple months before it came out, which is just fucking horrible. I also watched The Adam Project, the new Ryan Reynolds 4-quadrant Steven Spielberg-esque sci-fi movie. This is directed by Sean Levy, who directed Free Guy and will be directing Deadpool 3. As I texted you, Sean Levy is perfect for Deadpool 3. Perfect.
So this 4-quadrant family-friendly movie is this guy's really good for this R-rated comic book movie? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That sounds weird, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, it does.
If you watch, like, you can add the cursing. Like, it's Ryan Reynolds, right? Like, he could turn that shit on and off with no problem. The tone of the movie, like, as far as like fun, over the top sort of storytelling with like real heart to it, like Free Guy has like real heart to it, right? And like Deadpool in a weird way does have heart, like like it feels like it shouldn't, but it kind of does, right? And especially the second one, actually, I think more than the first. Like, this feels tonally not like to the quality that I would say a Marvel movie generally is, but tonally it feels like a Marvel movie. Like it just does. So the premise is you got this kid who eventually, or Ryan Reynolds is in the future. It's like 2050. He's a jet pilot, and his plane can do like time travel, right? Time travel exists, and he time travels back to 2022. And by mistake, and meets up with the younger version of himself, who's like 10 or 12 or something like that. He doesn't mean to come back there because he's actually looking for his wife. He meant to go back a number of years before that. But then he's trying to basically find his wife, played by Zoe Saldana, lucky him. And like the story kind of goes, and then you find out like his father is Mark Ruffalo, and they go back and they find him, and it's what it is basically. It's a dad film, right? It's a classic fucking dad film of what would you do if you lost your dad when you were young and you had one chance to go back and see him, right? And like fix the relationship that you couldn't have with him because he died when you were 12, right? Like that's the story. And it's a really heartfelt fucking story. Like this younger version, this mature Ryan Reynolds version, and then the dad, right? And them all kind of working together to undo what happens in the future. It works. Like it's actually a pretty fun movie. And like the special effects on like the ships and like the fighting and stuff like that, it's pretty fun. The kid who was the younger version of him, he's got Ryan Reynolds down. Like he really does. He's got his sort of cadence and his like joke telling and stuff. Like he's got it down. It's kind of wild to watch, and their interactions are pretty fun. But I think you would probably dig it. Like I think you would actually enjoy it.
My wife wants to watch it, so we'll end up watching it one of these weeks.
It's cute.
Fucking break.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, I think you would dig it. All right, I take it we both have watched Halo, the first episode.
Yes.
All right, what were your thoughts?
I've watched it. Look, man, I like all this stuff, man. I like military science fiction, right? Like I read the Jack Campbell like Lost Fleet series. I read the Frontline series from Marco Cluse. Wow. I read that first book based off of the Expanse television show by James S.A. Corey. I read that Halo Fall of Reach book by Eric Nyland. What else?
I'm sensing a pattern of Space Marine science trash.
Yo, I love it, yo. I love it. Like, because like, if I'm being honest, right? Like, if I'm being a little bit honest, like, I'm a little bit of a fascist, right? Like, I like that shit.
Yo, you're not allowed to whisper I'm a fascist. That's not cool, man. It's not cool.
I like that stuff, man. Like, it's cool to me. Like, I like military stuff. I like the discipline. The only reason I didn't get into the military is because I didn't want to fight any war that I didn't believe in. But like, this is fantasy, and I love all that shit.
It's easy to kill bugs on Clendathu. Like
it is, man.
It's super easy to be for that. Yeah, of course. Those fucking Nazis.
Right. So we come to Halo. Look, this thing has been in the making for a very, very long time. It was supposed to be a movie. Steven Spielberg was attached. Neil Blomkamp was attached. Now it is a television adaptation. And I'm actually very happy. I'm happy and I'm not happy. There's a lot to like about this for me, right? There's a lot to like about this. Here's what I don't like. I wish they had a little bit more money. I wish they had just a little bit more money.
Yeah,
just
buddy.
a little bit. Just a little bit more money. But what they're working with, I'm digging. Like, it feels like a TV show. Like, but I wanted to look like one of those Disney Plus Marvel shows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like they should have thrown $200 million at this.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know how much they put on it, but
they ain't paid no $200 million.
but I feel like they could have put just a little bit more. But it gets the job done. Yeah, I'm really digging it, man. It strays a bit from
they did spend $200 million. What? Is it $200 million?
Look, it all went to the Covenant. It all went to the Covenant, man.
Because they don't look bad. They actually look pretty good.
No, they don't look bad. They don't look bad at all. And for the first time, they look terrifying to me. Like, those things don't in the game. Like, you're the 7-foot, dude in a suit of armor. Like, these things don't look that menacing until you get to like some of the higher level enemies, right? But they always look kind of goofy to me, especially the grunts. Like, you can just like the grunts are like punt dogs. You know what I mean? Like, you can just kick them. You know what I mean? But they look terrifying. And I was very, very surprised that like, oh, we're just killing kids in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, they just murdering people.
They're murdering children, guys. The Covenant are murdering children. It strays a bit from the lore as I remember it. Like the UNSC, which is like the United Space Naval Command or some shit like that. Some fucking bullshit ass sci-fi military
United
shit, right?
Nations Space Command.
There you go. It's they are in the games. They're like just a regular. They're like a military organization that everybody kind of respects, but they do some shady shit, like kidnap children and turn them into child soldiers, right? Like, that's some shady shit.
Isn't that bad?
But here the UNSC are really depicted as more of like a totalitarian regime. And I was not expecting that. It would be like the Marines being a totalitarian regime.
Right.
Like, and I wasn't expecting that.
Or arguably like NATO, right? Because it's like the United Nations.
Right.
Yeah, it's like NATO is a fucking terrifying organization.
Right. And I wasn't expecting that, but I do like that little twist. But I feel like it's going to be like Chief is on the run. You know what I mean? Like, he's disobeying orders. He's on the run. He's like Captain America, but like, and the government is fucked up. Like, he realizes it. Now he's got to do the right thing because he's the one that can do the right thing. Right. I think that Master Chief is it's going to be hard for me to not hear Steve Downes' voice, but like, I'm nitpicking, right? I'm nitpicking because I like what I see. I think Pablo Schreiber is a very good choice for this role. He looks very good as a very average dude. And that's what Master Chief is. Like, he's an average dude who got put into this situation as a child. And he looks like how he's described in the books. And that's what I like.
Is it common for him to take his helmet off so much?
He never takes it off. Never takes it off.
Okay, thought so.
That's why it was a big deal when they did it.
Right. Like, I feel like they should have held that past the first episode. Like, because he doesn't have it on. Like, once he takes it off, it's off the rest of the episode. I was like, Come on, man. Like, it's part of the mystique.
But I think I understand why they did it, right? This character has to be a character now. When the helmet's on, when you're playing the game, you are Master Chief.
Right, he's a robot.
You are Master Chief. You imprint yourself on him. And much like how anyone could wear the mask, right? That's why, like, subconsciously everybody likes Spider-Man, because they can see themselves as Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was a full body costume. Like, that's why he was designed that way, folks.
Yeah. Turns out it worked.
It fucking worked. The same thing happens when you are playing Master Chief. But because this is a passive medium, which is why TV and movies are inferior to video games, because they're a passive medium.
Sounds like a lot of work.
You have to watch a character, and it's going to be difficult for the average person to relate to a faceless soldier.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And you gotta rip the Band-Aid off at some point.
Right. I mean, I guess, point counterpoint, I agree with that. And I'm wondering if it's solely because of the medium in which he comes from, video games being video games. Like, does that change why you believe that versus The Mandalorian, which took multiple seasons before you saw his face?
I think it might be because I have so much baggage with this character and with this property. With The Mandalorian, I think they do a very good look. With The Mandalorian, the writing is on point. I like this Halo show.
It's not The Mandalorian.
The writing is not going. From what I can tell right now, the writing is not at that level.
No. Come on. No.
With this character can be a faceless hero. And if you're going to have a faceless hero, you need to surround them with incredible side characters, which is what The Mandalorian does.
Yeah,
right?
That's absolutely true. Yep.
This so far, like the characters that surround Master Chief are other Spartans who are faceless soldiers.
Yeah. And those characters are going to get flushed out too, because it's like Bokeem Woodbine and some other characters.
Bokeem Woodbine is one of the characters. I can't wait to see Bokeem Woodbine in this movie. I love Bokeem Woodbine.
He's great. He's the angriest black man in Hollywood.
He is, man. He is very much a carbon copy of you.
The old me. The old me.
But yeah, I've been rambling. I really enjoy this. I think it's right up my alley. It's meant for people like me.
Right. Simpletons. That makes militaristic fascist simpletons. Look, I dug it. I agree with you. The budget the CGI is lacking, right? And and I
have very high expectations. You know what
right.
I mean?
I didn't. I didn't for the CGI, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, so this is really not great." But when the only times it becomes an issue is when they show characters fast moving, right? And like you said, they spent the money on the Covenant, right? Because they're all CGI, where Master Chief is clearly practical, except for when they're showing him like really moving and things like quickly moving. And like the first time you see him. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for people who haven't watched the show, like the first time you see Master Chief, there's literally like a bunch of like rebels being attacked by the Covenant, and they just use a drop ship and just drop this dude out of the sky, and he just lands superhero landing style and just starts fucking shit up. And I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, all right, you speaking my language. Like, let's fucking rock and roll. Like, that shit was dope. But then they show him like moving really quick, and I was like, ooh, don't do that. Like, it was like it. I don't want to say it was as bad as watching Wonder Woman clearly running on a treadmill in that one scene. In Wonder Woman 1984, it's not that bad, but it's like, ooh, that's clearly bad CGI, right? Like that feels
it
like
felt like
something like a CW.
It felt like to me like someone was doing playback at like 1.5 speed.
Yeah, it felt weird. It just felt weird.
Yeah.
But honestly, it would be better if they sped up the tape of him running than doing this like weird, almost like claymation-y kind of CGI. That's like really low budget. So that's really, and look, I agree. The writing is not the point of like a Disney series. Like it just isn't there.
I'm not expecting the writing to be phenomenal, but I am expecting to be entertained. And I'm
enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Look,
I'm gonna keep watching it.
I wouldn't say it's quote unquote appointment television for me, but I'm definitely like, all right, like I'm here for this. Like I'm here for it. Like it was pretty fun. I thought it was fun. I don't need to like I'm not gonna be like, you gotta see Halo, bro. Like I'm not gonna say that. But it was pretty fun. Like I thought the action sequences were pretty good. Again, the Covenant looked great. Like when they were like stabbing people with their light up swords or whatever the fuck it is. That shit looked dope. I don't play video games, so I don't really know all of the Halo lore. I know, calm down, nerds. I believe it's some sort of light saber of sorts.
God damn it!
But it looked cool. Like it looked like the game. Like the shit looked like the game. So yeah, I'm okay with it. Like I think it's a little bit better than fine, but not much better than fine. So there you go. Hey, look, I'm happy it turned out as good as it has, to be honest. And I do like Pablo Schreiber as Master Chief. I think it works. It's a bit weird hearing his voice outside of the helmet, because inside the helmet it totally works. Like outside the helmet, I'm like, eh. Like when he's got the helmet on, it's like enhanced and it sounds like computerized a little bit. Like it sounded pretty good.
Yeah, it just like Steve Downes' voice is so like iconic to that character, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's the Kevin Conroy thing with Batman. You know what I mean?
You can't unhear
like
it.
I'm gonna have a very difficult time. Not a difficult time, but like I'm here when I'm watching it, like I'm playing back in my head in Steve Downes' voice. But yeah, man. I enjoy it. I think it's worth a watch. For some reason, this thing says Charlie Murphy is in it. What?
I don't think that's the same Charlie.
Okay, no, it's not the same Charlie Murphy. It is an Irish actress named Charlotte Murphy who goes by Charlie.
Weird.
For some reason. Okay. I mean, that name's kind of taken.
Yeah, you gotta knock that off.
You gotta do something with that, man.
All right, let's jump into topics this week.
Masters of the Universe directors vow to avoid making the franchise Lord of the Rings light because they don't want easy money.
I feel like you added that, but I mean, you're not wrong.
It will be all too easy to transform the weird, wacky world of Masters of the Universe into a wannabe Lord of the Rings franchise, but the movie's directors have made it clear it won't be happening. A Masters of the Universe movie has been in development for several years now. It's been in development for several years because they don't want to use the template that the Lord of the Rings gave them.
Right.
I might have edited that. But production is finally expected to begin this summer with the Nee brothers set to helm for Netflix from a screenplay they penned alongside Shang-Chi writer David Callahan. So they were spoken to by this outlet for their plans. And they are quoted as saying, "We are unapologetic that it is a wacky, wild property, that these characters are colorful and crazy and weird. We did not want to try and tone that down to make it into Lord of the Rings and change everybody's names or something, but instead embrace that. That's one of the things that's singular about and special about this property. It's very important for us tapping into why, as kids, those toys and cartoons meant so much to us. It was the bright colors and the fact that they were like bodybuilders. I mean, that was really it. You know, like they had a bunch
there's not a lot there, guys. Big muscles.
There was no story, and then toys. It was toys, and then stories. Scraps of toys. Like, all right, well. Here's a piece of a guy and here's a piece of another guy. Let's just put them together, and then you got like Man at Arms, right? Like, and then they created a story around him to sell toys. But look, I get it. I'm not shitting on this dude. Like, that is a property that has a tremendous fan base. If you're actually going to make it like, if you're actually going to take somebody's playbook, you should be taking the Conan the Barbarian playbook.
That is correct.
Because that is a very wacky, crazy fucking world.
It is, and we've never truly dug into it in movies. Like, you've never have. Like, even the Conan movie, which I love, or the original one with Arnold, which I love. It just touches on the edge of how fucking insane that world is, dude. It's not just sword and sandal shit. There's a lot of really wacky magic shit in that universe.
Right. Like, fucking James Earl Jones was Skeletor in that motherfucker, yo. Like, he was essentially Skeletor, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was essentially He-Man. Like, that's the playbook that you need to run.
How did Arnold never play He-Man? It's so weird. How did that never happen? How did Arnold never play He-Man? It's so weird, dude. Like, that seemed like right for him. Like, just give him a bad wig and just fucking get on with it. Like, come on.
Bad wig. Did you see what he used to look like when he was in his Mr. Olympia days? He already had the hair. He could grow it. He could grow that shit.
What was it? As Bill Burr says, a gap between his front teeth you could put a microphone cord through. Guy's a fucking hero.
I'm very curious to see what this was about. Look, I'm not a huge fan of this property. I was never a He-Man guy growing up. Right. But I'm curious to see what a live action take of it would be. I watched the first half of that Masters in the Universe thing that Kevin Smith did, and I liked it.
Second half is even better, honestly. It's better.
I'll have to try and make some time for it. But yeah, man, like, this world is crazy, man. Like, don't make it Lord of the Rings light. Make it Conan. Make it Conan light, and then make it
wacky.
Yeah, just fucking go crazy.
Look, I'll say this. The Kevin Smith blueprint, I know there's like hardcore Masters of the Universe people who didn't like that because it focused on a woman, which was weird. I don't know, guys, touch grass, but it's I love that statement. It's so good. Like, it is. It's just like it's such a great way to cut people down. Just go touch grass, man. Relax. But the second half with like Savage He-Man and like he gets his powers back and all that other shit, like, dude, do that. Like, you don't have to do Savage He-Man, but like, he was kicking ass. Like that moment, like in the trailer for the second part where they're like, oh, they're firing on us. There's no place safe, and He-Man is like, there's one place safe. Behind me, and then he just goes and just kicks the shit out of everyone in front of him. It was awesome. Do that, man. Have fun with it. Like, give whatever guy that's starring as He-Man all the steroids. Make this guy a fucking monster and fucking kick ass, dude. Like, this property feels like it's like G.I. Joe. It's too easy, so people overcomplicate it, right? It's like the Punisher. How do we crack the Punisher? Is a psycho with guns. Oh, right. We're trying to like do some other story. It's just a psycho with guns, Like, just find an actor, John Barenthal, and just do a psycho with guns. Turns out it works. Like, just don't overcomplicate shit. Like, it's simple. It's a big guy with a magic sword. He's a little guy. When he doesn't call down the power, he fights another who's got a skeleton face but is also jacked. Very weird. Like, it's very weird. And he's got an array of friends, and then copy that shit from the Kevin Smith thing of like Man at Arms is a fucking badass. Like, he was awesome on that cartoon. Like, the most dangerous man in Eternia. Like, copy that shit. Like, do it, man. Like, call up Kevin Smith and be like, look, let's like collaborate and fucking figure this shit out. He clearly got it. That second half of that series was wacky as fuck. He incorporated every wacky toy they had. All of that shit was in that series. He did. And he made it work. So, like, just watch that series, change the little things you want, do that. It's not that hard, man. It's not that hard. But I have a feeling they will overcomplicate it and fuck it up again. So,
do you think they would I don't want them to like be too, like, I want them to have fun. You know what I mean? Like That's what I feel like.
It doesn't need to be serious.
People, I think people like, especially when they're doing like these toy properties, like that's the first thing, is that it's supposed to be fun. Like those Transformers movies from Michael Bay, like they weren't fun. Like they had some funny jokes in it, right? But they didn't feel fun. Like
right.
I didn't feel the, one shall stand, one shall fall. Like that shit is fucking ridiculous. But I love it. Like, cause like it's corny, Like,
right.
I think people, like you said, I think people just overanalyze it. Like, I don't know what's so hard about G.I. Joe, man. I really don't.
I will never for the life of me understand why it is hard for you to make a movie or a TV series, whichever one you want to do, where it's a group of a rainbow coalition of military people just be like, hey, they're the UN or whatever of like all the best of the best from all the branches from all over the world, all the good guys. You got a French guy, you got a German guy, you got an American guy, like Japanese lady, whatever. Bring them all together. They're all badass. They got a ninja for some fuck reason. Okay. And they're the good guys. And then you got a terrorist organization that's the polar opposite of them, which is all the bad guys, the Legion of Doom. And they're always trying to kill and destroy people for money. And they got an eccentric leader. And they just fight. What the fuck? Why is the script? I just wrote it. Just like, just curb your enthusiasm. This shit. Get people, create scenes, and just have them ad lib the shit. Like it's not that hard, but you're trying to overanalyze it. Like it's too much.
So many movies, like of this ilk, right? Like we don't need some super big stories. So many movies of this type could be made if you just take the bad dude's premise. The president has been kidnapped by ninjas. Are you a bad enough dude to save him? That's it. That's it.
Like a G.I. Joe, like honestly, a G.I. Joe movie could easily start with Cobra is this terrorist organization that has been doing like little things, right? They're coming up on the radar. They're doing little shit. And then cut to Cobra Commander in the snake pit. I don't know, wherever the fuck they hang out. I'm sure some sort of snake themed thing. And he's like, we're going to kill the president, or we're going to capture the president and have Zartan stand in for him and control the world or whatever. Some dumb fuck plot. And then G.I. Joe gets wind of it. And the whole time they're trying to take him down. That's it. Credits. $800 million. Boom. Done. Like, what are we talking about? Go make
all those
money.
Mike Banning movies are G.I. Joe movies with one dude. That's it,
That's it. He's just Duke. Like, he's Duke. Get that guy a ninja friend and like, let's get moving. Like they did a Snake Eyes movie and they made it boring. And it was like 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's Snake Eyes, dude. The best moment of Snake Eyes in animated anything, I would argue, outside of like, if you want to long form the original series, was it G.I. Joe Resolute? I think it was called. Where he's fighting Storm Shadow. Is badass. Storm Shadow literally stabs him through the hand with his sword, but Snake Eyes doesn't talk and he just fucking eats that shit. And then they just keep fighting. It was awesome. Do that. Like, why is it so hard? You have infinite amount of hours of information and data to just mine, but they just cannot figure it out. I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Stop overcomplicating it, man. Just stop.
Yeah. Because trust me, they didn't overcomplicate it in the originals. They really didn't.
Hell no, dude. Oh.
Yeah. We didn't need much in the 80s. Boy.
Nah, we were dumb.
Oh, shit.
Where can I watch the G.I. Joe cartoon, by the way?
There's got to be somewhere you can watch it. It's got to be somewhere. While you look that up. It's been more than 3 years now since HBO rolled out a new season of True Detective. Nic Pizzolato's once zeitgeist-seizing true crime anthology. Now, while we may be 8 years distant from the now ubiquitous time is a flat circle jokes, breathless apparitions for... Okay, just... The series maintains a certain mystique.
Shut up.
God, yeah, do these people get paid by the word, yo? God damn.
The answer
now it
is
seems
yes.
like these series might come back. Deadline is reporting that HBO is apparently gearing up for a revival or a possible spinoff, supposedly titled True Detective Night Country, which will be headed up by Tigers Are Not Afraid writer-director Issa Lopez and Moonlight's Barry Jenkins. I've not seen Tigers Are Not Afraid, but I'm familiar with Barry Jenkins' work. And I'm very, very... I will allow this. I will allow this. There are no real details yet, but yeah, I'll allow this. I enjoy True Detective. That first season was amazing.
Yes, it was.
What was it? 3 seasons?
Yeah. So the first, it's been 3. So the first one was the one with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, which was phenomenal. I think everyone would agree. And the second one was with Taylor Kitsch.
Was that the one in L.A. with Vince Vaughn?
And Vince Vaughn.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that. I couldn't get into it. Everybody kept whispering. I'm like, yo, speak up. Like, it was super annoying. I'm like, why is it fucking so low? But yeah, I just didn't like it. I didn't finish it. And then the third season was with Mahershala Ali. I couldn't get into it. And now it sucked because I was super excited for that one. I just could not get into it. It was almost too slow.
I think I watched it all, but I don't remember anything from it.
Well, there you go. I mean, this article refers to it as being like kind of uneven. Where the first season was just like, fuck, that was appointment television. Like, like it says, like the once, zeitgeist stealing first season, like everyone was talking about True Detective, like everybody had theories and shit like that. They need to get that again. I don't know if it's because because it was like in New Orleans or wherever, or Louisiana. Like, I don't know if it's that, or it needs to be in the South, or it needs to be a serial killer again. I don't know what it has to be, or like a sexual crime. I don't know, that captures people. But that first season was phenomenal. So look, it's Barry Jenkins, man. I don't know Issa Lopez's work either, but if Barry Jenkins is involved, I know that writing is going to be on fucking point. And directions will be too. So I look forward to it. I will definitely check it
out. Indeed. Are you going to check out Nic Cage as Dracula?
Just a side note, all of the episodes of G.I. Joe are streaming for free on Hasbro's YouTube channel.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. I think I'll try to watch
I might start buying some of their toys. They have some pretty badass G.I. Joe toys.
Yeah, they always have. I gave all my G.I. Joes to my daughter. I still have my original ones, which was kind of dope.
Jesus.
I mean,
yeah, you wouldn't give them to her if you paid $20 pop for them.
Nah, my mom did. That's not my problem. She definitely did pay. They were back then. They were like $3.99 or $2-3.
Yeah, nah, not anymore. These motherfuckers are damn near $30. Like, Jesus Christ. What are you doing?
Like, they're the same size as the originals, like the little dudes?
No, they're 6 inch figures. They're like this size. They're 6 inch figures.
That's kind of like the size of the originals. Like, nah, yo.
Weren't the original?
Oh, they were like big dolls.
12 inches?
Yeah, no, they were dolls, my nigga. Like, they were dolls. Like, right. Grown men playing with dolls. Like, no, right. Look, Duke, you can comb his hair. Like, all right, relax. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, let's make fun of these girls. Let's make fun of these girls playing with Barbies. Meanwhile, let's play with something that's real manly, like a boy doll.
Like, I don't want to play with Barbie. That's dumb. I want to get shipwrecked. All right, guys. Like, relax.
Polly Pocket, ew, that's for girls. Mighty Max, that's for boys.
Right.
It's the same thing, yo.
It's
the same thing.
They just put your character in a wig, yo. It's the same. All right. Still works with Legos, my nigga. Like, still works with Lego blocks. Like, relax. They still make Polly Pockets, I believe. No, I absolutely will watch Nicolas Cage as Dracula, because this picture is fucking magical. Like, this is wild.
New photos from the set of Chris McKay's new horror comedy Renfield, which stars Nicholas Hoult as a put upon assistant of Dracula, they have been circulating the internet. Yo, come on, come on.
Who's not gonna watch this? Is this a comedy? Is this a comedy?
Yes, apparently it is a horror comedy.
Oh, this is gonna be too much fun, dude.
Come on, man. Come on. Look at him in his crushed velvet with fucking. He's got 3 rings on his fucking fingers and shit. He's got the rings on the 3 fingers in his hand. Come on, man. Come on.
Look, it's too good, man. It's too good. It's too good. It's too good. Like as one of our listeners posted to me, shout out to Mark. He was like, yo, I've seen that suit before. Yo, it's almost the exact same suit Joe Pesci wore in My Cousin Vinny. It's the same suit, yo. It's the same suit. This shit is fucking hilarious. No, I think this looks awesome. I think this doing this is going to be so much fun. Oh shit! It's directed by Chris McKay too. I didn't realize that.
Not Adam McKay.
No,
Chris McKay.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. No, if it was done by Adam McKay, I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic. But yeah, Chris McKay, that's fine. That's fine. Like I think he's a competent director. Yeah, this looks great. He's got the long fingernails. I mean, he's got the blue lips. Like he's really going for it. Of course he does. Of course he does, because he's Nicolas Cage. He's Academy Award-winning actor Nicolas Cage. That's right. Academy Award-winning actor Nicolas Cage does not half-ass it. Even when he does half-ass it, he's not half-assing it. Did you see the quote from him about? I did. About the video on demand stuff. Yeah, he was like, "Hey, look, you laugh all you want. I'm laughing to the bank, bitch. I got out of debt being in that 2-second movie where the thing where he could jump in time forward in time for 2 seconds or some dumb shit, right? He climbed his ass out of debt and said, I don't regret none of it. Yeah, he was like, I had a good time. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, we're gonna come back. Like we're gonna come back to Nicolas Cage about his quotes about the movie industry, which I think are actually pretty wonderful. Like they're so reasonable. Like they're the most reasonable comments you've heard on a celebrity on them. So. From Nicolas Cage, yo, yeah. They're the most reasonable things in the world from the most unreasonable actor ever. Yeah, he's a total kook. And you know when people are like, "Oh, I'd like to have a beer with someone," I would love to have a beer with Nicolas Cage. Several of them. Nigga, come on. Come on. I want to look. He would be a blast to talk to. Look, if given the opportunity, I would get high with Nicolas Cage. That's me saying that shit. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do none of that shit. If I were to get high, the first time I would get high is with Nic Cage. All right, that's fair. Man. All right, I'm gonna try to make that happen. That's the only way. I bet Nicolas Cage does no drugs. I bet he doesn't do anything. He probably doesn't. He probably doesn't. He doesn't need to. He's got an internal tap that he could get to any time for pure madness. He's awesome, man. He is awesome. I fucking love Nic Cage, man. Like he gives it his all every time, man. And the funny thing is, as much as people give Nicolas Cage shit, and fair, right? Like he does a lot of garbage movies. Everybody has one Nicolas Cage role they like. Everybody has one, man. Everybody has one. Of course. Like whether it's like Captain Corelli's Mandolin or fucking Face Off or Con Air. Everybody likes him, or in Leaving Las Vegas. Everybody likes him in something. Everybody likes him in something. And I guess that partly that goes to the idea of like he does so many movies. it's just the law of percentages. Like if you just shoot enough, you hit something. But this will be his second time playing a vampire, Micah. Like I'm a vampire. Of course.
Come on,
Yo,
man.
Vampire's Kiss is fucking insane. That movie is nuts. Yeah, I'm all in for
How
this.
can you not like? Yeah, man. How can you not like Nicolas Cage, man? Like, yo, he named himself after a comic book character. Yo, he named his son after a comic book character. Like, how could you be listening to this and not like Nic Cage?
You got to,
Come
man.
on, man.
You got to respect it.
Come on.
All right, here we go. Marvel is developing a Nova project with Moon Knight scribe Sabir Pirzada. So Richard Rider, aka Nova, aka Dick Rider, looks to be joining the Marvel Cinematic. What's that?
Yeah, you better. I was about to say you better call him by his actual name.
Yeah, that's right, Dick Rider, of course. Looks to be joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as sources tell Deadline that Marvel is developing a Nova project with Sabir Pirzada on board to write. It is unknown for now whether this is developed into a feature film or a limited series on Disney Plus, but a lot of people are saying that it is likely a Disney Plus series. I don't know about that. Like, I mean, what they're hearing is what they're hearing, right? So I don't know, but it seems to me you'd want to take a character that's going to be doing that much sort of like big budgety things. You'd want to put that dude on the screen, on the big screen ASAP, because I don't feel like he's a character that you need to test whether or not he's going to work. You know what I mean?
Not at this point. Not at this point. Like, yo, there's a talking tree and a talking raccoon in the Marvel Cinema, and people accepted it the second it came out.
Right. I don't think you need to be like, well, we'll know. Like, no, just get him in there, dude.
They're space cops, guys. They're space cops. Like, we get it, right? Like, it's not. We can handle space cops. If we can handle Guardians of the Galaxy. If we can handle Thanos and the Black Order and alien invasions and shit,
right?
Yeah, we can handle that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, they're getting ready to do Invasion of the Body Snatchers, for fuck's sakes. I think we can handle space cops.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. Like, it's so I'm just curious as to what they will do. But my guess is he doesn't really need to be slow walked, and the like if he's from if they're dealing with the whole idea of the sort of aftermath of Thanos coming and just like straight up murdering everyone, then I suppose the argument would be like developing what he's going through after that. But I feel like that could just be done in a movie. I don't know that you need a 6-parter for that, but we'll see. It's not like the budget's going to be different, right? Like you're just spreading it out over episodes. Yeah. So, look, I'd be down for it. I mean, I think it's been a long time coming. So, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. And again, they're saying this is Richard Rider. This is not Sam Alexander. But I think you start with Richard Rider, and then I think you bring in Sam Alexander later, like because Sam Alexander's dad was a Nova, and then he finds his helmet, and him and his, I forget his dad's name, but his dad was tight with Richard Rider, so like you could have that kid's dad die, he finds his helmet, and then Ryder, he meets up with Ryder, and Ryder is like, hey, let me tell you about your dad. And then they kind of like, let me show you the way into being a Nova. And it's like, you got your like adult kid fucking team up, kind of film. Like that could totally work. So yeah, but just like let Nova be around for a little bit before you do that. Back to Nicolas Cage. Nic Cage did an interview with GQ magazine with a fucking great picture. Wow, his jeans in that image cost $550. That is a lot of money. Jeez.
Hey,
okay.
Not for the man who does every movie ever.
Wait. His belt was $61,000?
Look at all that bling. Look at all that bling. Maybe you can't see it. Maybe you need to put some glasses on.
I'm not rich enough for this. I'm not rich enough for this. He's got on a $500 Givenchy, or excuse me, he's got a. Oh, sorry, we don't have a price for the Givenchy coat. Price upon request. He's wearing a $550 shirt, $550 jeans by Saint Laurent. Again, these are brands I would never spend money on. A belt that's $61,000 by Chrome Hearts, and $280 sunglasses that make him look like Junior Soprano. He looks like an old man, but whatever. Yeah, rich people have just money.
Johnny Cage had $500 sunglasses, so step it up, Nic Cage.
I've paid $200 for a pair of sunglasses. That's the closest I'm coming to Nic Cage. That's it.
My blue aviators that I got years ago were $200, and I still have them because $200.
Yeah, the sunglasses I wear right now were $200, and I've had them for years. And I used to lose sunglasses all the time when I bought them for $15. Not for $200. You don't. No, you know exactly what those motherfuckers are. That's the best purchase I've ever made in my life. Are you kidding me? I was like, I don't want to lose $200 sunglasses. Turns out, you can't get rid of them. My brain won't allow it. So Nicolas Cage was asked, of course, the burning question, how do you feel about comic movies? Is Marvel ruining movies? And basically he was like, look, where's his quote? God, they have so much bullshit here. But basically he says, like, look, I don't think any of, like, I don't think those movies I don't think any of the Marvel movies are ruining movies. I think that's, basically I think it's ridiculous. Because he's like, look, they're a phenomenon. And they do great. Like, people love them, they enjoy them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with that? He's like, none of that shit ruins small budget movies. Like, people are gonna go see those movies or they're not. Like, which is absolutely
it's counter programming, guys. It's counter programming. Like, the people who are going to see the Marvel movies, they're probably not going to see,
Coda.
Right. Like, it's counter programming. Now, I don't think it's just that simple. I think that the issue that these big directors are having, and I think it won't affect them in the slightest because they are huge name directors. So this is not going to affect them in the slightest. But if the industry starts to move towards one type of film, where does that leave the mid-budget, like,
right,
matinee, right? Indie movies are always going to get some sort of shine, but, like, they weren't expected to get a lot of shine anyway. They'll get, they'll hit the festival circuit, right? The gigantic movies are going to come out in the summer, and like, they're obviously they got the marketing behind it, but, like, the $100,000-$200,000 movie, like, that's literally just like people talking, two people talking movie.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of those, but look, I could be dead wrong, right? Like,
well, I think
it was always an unwritten rule that, like, the big movies are made in the summertime so that you can afford to have the smaller movies in the wintertime, right? And now that the big movies, now that summer starts in May and ends in November, like some fucking baseball season.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of days in between there, man. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand the issue that some of these old school directors are having.
I think part of it is they're getting old and their movies don't hit like they used to, right? Yeah, Scorsese got a big Oscar push and everything else for The Irishman, but, like, people weren't trying to watch that. Not really. Hey, spoiler alert! It was 4 hours long. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that might be part of it, but also, like, it was just not a movie that hit, right, for some people. when I was growing up, Scorsese did a film, people saw it, right? Like, oh shit, Martin Scorsese's doing a movie. They're going to go see that shit, right? Like, this is going to be amazing. But younger generations are not connected to that material. They're not connected to him as a director anymore. They have their directors that they are into, right? Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan makes a movie, people go see it, right? Like, that's just a reality. Christopher Nolan, and I'm not comparing these like talent-wise. I'm just comparing these to like popularity-wise. Christopher Nolan is the Scorsese of this generation. He kind of is, right? Like, that dude can make whatever movie he wants. People are going to go see it. Like, they are. Whether people like it or not is a different story, and people will debate that, and that's all fine and good. There's nothing wrong with that. But they will go see it, right? Because he is a popular enough name as a director. Jordan Peele is becoming kind of like that, right? Like, Jordan Peele's got something coming. Like, people who are a fan of that genre are going to see it, right? That just is what it is. So I'm a little like, here's the exact quote, by the way. I found it. He says, yeah, why do they do that? Talking about like these old school directors, like shitting on Marvel movies. He says, I don't understand the conflict. I don't agree with them on that perception or opinion. I think the movies that I make, like Pig or Joe, are not in any kind of conflict with Marvel movies. I mean, I don't think the Marvel movie had anything to do with the end of the tweener. By tweener, I mean a $30 to $50 million budget movie. I think movies are in good shape. If you look at The Power of the Dog, or if you look at Spencer, or any of the Megan Ellis movies, I think they're still Paul Thomas Anderson. Marvel has done a really excellent job of entertaining the whole family. They put a lot of thought into it. I mean, it's definitely had a big progression from when I was doing the first two Ghost Rider movies. Kevin Feige, or whoever is behind the machine, has found a masterful way of weaving those stories together and interconnecting all the characters. What could be wrong with wholesome entertainment with an appeal that is appealing to parents and children and gives people something to look forward to? I just don't see what the issue is. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with them. I don't see what the issue is.
Like, if you want to go watch a $30 to $50 million talkie picture, they exist. Spoiler alert. Streaming is what's keeping that shit alive. And not to a lesser extent. Movies like I talked about that movie Enough Said earlier. Movies like that, if that came out today, it likely wouldn't go to theaters, right? But maybe it would. But it would have life on streaming. It would. It would get to more people. Like, think about it. Every couple of months or so, Netflix has a fucking banger documentary series that everyone is talking about. Guess what? That type of shit doesn't make it to theaters, right? Like, or a single documentary. It just doesn't. And it doesn't hit like that. But because it's on streaming, it gets more eyes. People work pretty hard to get their movies on streaming.
And what they do now is they just do a dual release, right? Like,
right.
I don't understand it, right? Like, you can do that with any popular genre, right? Like, you can make that argument with literally anything, right? That's had you know what else is relatively popular? Like CG children's movies, or CG movies geared towards children, right? And what are these comic book movies but CG movies geared towards children and young adults? Like, it just doesn't. I just don't understand. And look, if I don't know. It's weird because I would generally try to watch any type of movie, so I don't. But I'm the outlier, and
we both are.
We are the outlier.
Yeah,
and I have to remember that sometimes. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm watching all these fucking Oscar movies, and like. Right. Like,
I watched Sound of Metal. I thought it was great.
The one made by the guy who made Hellboy is the one that I really, really like.
Yeah, it turns out.
Right? Like, so
I still haven't watched Nightmare Alley.
You should, man. I think you really dig it.
I know.
I know. Really like it.
I'm trying to get my wife to watch it along with me, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead.
And it's not like scary. You know what I mean? Like, it's violent, but it's not like scary. You know what I mean?
I like a good.
It's super violent. So yeah, you should watch it, man. But I don't know. I don't know where I was going. But once again, Nicolas Cage, 100% correct in everything he says.
Yeah, he's 100% right, dude. Like, and people are like, he went against his uncle Francis Ford Coppola. Yo, he's an adult. Yo, he's like 58. Like, yo, what are you talking?
Yo,
you're like,
I'm almost 60 years old.
Right? Like, don't go against the family. Yo, I'm almost 60. Yo, you're about to die. I'm alive. Like, relax. I get to say what I want.
Against the family. What kind of mob shit? What kind of typical Scorsese mob shit is this?
Right? Like,
I've seen this movie countless times.
I know, but they're really good. But they are good.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, he's going against the family. Just calm down. Just calm down.
Right.
Stop trying to create controversy. They don't talk about that shit at all. They go to the dinner table. It's like, all right, you good? Yeah, you good? All right. Like, fuck, who cares? I didn't read your article. I didn't read yours. Who gives a shit?
Nigga, nigga, he don't even use the family's last name, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about?
Like,
what are you?
Like, he does not lean on them at all. No, he does not.
No, of course not.
And he doesn't have to. Because he has an Oscar. Next up, so there was a released deleted scene from the Batman featuring Barry. I guess it's Keoghan. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He was Druid in Eternals, by the way. But it's a deleted scene between Barry Keoghan and Robert Pattinson, with Barry Keoghan playing the Joker. What did you think of this scene overall? And by the way, it's linked in the show notes. You can check it out.
I think the scene as a scene, just the scene, I think is great. I think it's a showcase for Barry Keoghan, basically. It felt like an audition tape for Barry Keoghan to play the Joker, and I think he nailed it. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Reeves was like, this is a proof of concept of the type of Batman that I want to introduce to the world. This is the vibe, this is the grit. I wouldn't be surprised if this was it. I'm glad that it was not in the movie.
I agree with you.
And I to be perfectly honest, I wish the Joker part that was in the movie wasn't in it.
Yeah, I would have been fine with the cut as well.
Yeah, I'd have been perfectly fine with it. But at the same time, like, if it was in there and we do establish the relationship that Batman and the Joker have, I feel like you need to do that and have it be throughout the movies. And then when you're kind of done with this Batman thing, like, the Joker gets out. And it's like, oh shit, like, this is what, like we were talking about last week or a couple weeks ago. Like, you don't do the Joker next, right? Like, the Joker should be the end all for this, right?
Yep.
And if you keep that if you keep this scene in the movie, you establish that there's a weird Hannibal Lecter type relationship with Batman and the Joker that we've never really seen before, which I think is very cool. From an artistic standpoint, I loved the in focus, out of focus. Like,
yeah, some people hated that. I loved it. I thought it was super clever.
I loved it, man. I thought it was great. I thought it was it was like a tease, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
constantly.
And I really appreciated it. Especially when you do focus, like, you focus on like the different parts of them, but like not the whole thing. Like, it looked like the cover to one of those Joker books.
Where it's like super up on his like teeth and stuff like that.
Up on his teeth, man.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so yeah, all in all, I like the scene a lot. I'm very glad it was not in the movie, because you don't want the Riddler to be overshadowed. And I think that's what everyone would be talking about.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, no matter how good Paul Dano would be and is in that movie, it would really eat away at like because people would just be like, "Yo, the scene with the Joker," and they would just be like, it would just turn off everything else, which would be unfortunate.
But where's the Joker at, right? Like, but where's the Joker though?
Right.
Like that's what people would be saying throughout the rest of the movie, and that looks like it was probably somewhere in the second act.
Yeah,
which means it was probably somewhere in the middle of the second hour of the 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that to the Riddler. Like the Riddler needs to be his own force of like menace.
Right. And that's my biggest reason for not wanting him in it is just let Paul Dano's Riddler live on his own. I didn't mind the scene in the movie that was left with them meeting. I just didn't need it, right? Like some people are like, I was offended. Like I wasn't. Like it was fine. I just didn't need it. Like if you just said, hey, we're gonna cut that scene. All right. Like it felt like that scene could have been cut and this left in. You know what I mean? Like, like I would change those scenes, if anything. But I agree with you. Like I loved the sort of grotesqueness of him, right? Like, Gotham tried to do a similar thing, but it didn't look nearly as good. But that's like a budget thing, right? He looks twisted. He looks fucked up. Like, he looks
like he's been pulling his hair out and shit.
Right. Like,
you know what I mean? Like,
he looks like a crazy person. Like, he looks like a full on insane person. And I just love the difference, the sort of dramatic difference in the way they look, right? Where you got Batman who looks like super put together in that moment, you know, and it like the cowl looks really good and everything else. And then it's just like this guy on the other side is just a fucking maniac. But I also like if you check out if you pay attention to the dialogue, I'm sure you did, where he says, you know, this is almost our 1 year anniversary, right? Like all we know about them is that they've tussled a year ago. And like, even he makes a comment like, you know, the first anniversary is paper. Like, you know, who said I would come this cheap or whatever. Like there's like little, like really good little lines like that I thought were really quite well done. So
it proves that Matt Reeves really does get Batman because like there is I mean, I don't want to get too psychological, but there is a homoerotic like thing between Batman and the Joker, right? Like it's like, well, why don't you guys just fuck already, right? Yeah. Like the Joker is in love with Batman because Batman is the one that like he can't break. Yep. You know what I mean? Like no matter how much he tries, he can't break, and that's the fun. Right, for him is he wants to break the bat, right? Yep. He wants to make this incredibly uptight dude so uptight he's got to walk around in a bat suit. Like he wants to break this dude, and he can't do it. And
the Joker supports buck breaking. Got it. Yeah. Got it.
and Batman can't, you know, and Batman knows that someone like this should not be breathing air, but he can't do it because the man's got a code, right?
Yep.
And
if he does it, this guy wins, right?
He wins, right? Like, but he really wants to, right?
Yeah.
And this is a dynamic that you don't see too much in Batman properties, at least movie properties, right? Like it's just those two talking, and I don't know, man. This is hitting different than The Dark Knight for me, in a different way, but in a good way.
Right. In the Dark Knight scene, the interrogation scene is all about like Batman trying all of his methods that he's tried on regular thugs and realizing it doesn't work on this guy. Because he's different
and he's getting frustrated, right? Yeah. And the Joker is winning that back and forth, that psychological back and forth. This is way more accurate to at least what I feel like these two characters' relationships would be.
Right. I like the Hannibal Lecter idea. Like I think that would have been a cool way to run this. That throughout all of this shit, like let's say there's 4 movies, right? And throughout this run, you see like the Joker's just like, yeah, this is like kind of feeding him information, like just slowly but surely, like feeding him information. And they develop this kind of like Hannibal Lecter sort of situation. And then you're right. Like he gets out. And like, nah, yo, they're not friends. Like, cause he wants to fucking kill Batman because he wants to push him to that edge. And now, not only has he been feeding him this information, but he has been examining who the Batman is, like, the whole time. And like, because the Joker is crazy, but he's not
Joker's
stupid.
Not dumb, yo.
He's not dumb. He's quite brilliant. So like that idea of him just like slowly like pulling information and like just kind of learning about who this guy is and what drives him. That is what makes their rivalry good. Like, I know people will have a immediate response to this, and I've already seen it online. Immediate response, like, this is not as good as Ledger's Joker. It's not about whether it's better. It's just a different version. It's a different interpretation, and it is different. It's very different because we have never seen this. Like, the closest you got was that speech where Ledger's Joker's like, I feel like we're going to be doing this forever type, at the end, where they had Bale speak way too much in that voice. Sometimes, perhaps you put a coat over a little boy's shoulders. like, please stop talking. You sound ridiculous. But like, that was like so bad. But like, this is the psychological game. This is what makes these characters so iconic. This is what keeps people coming back to these characters and wanting to do different takes on them. This scene is like point proven. This is what people like about them fundamentally. And that's not to say Ledger's Joker isn't phenomenal. I think it is, because we've seen 5 minutes of this. Ledger's Joker is fucking top of the heap by far. But there are different interpretations of the Joker. And this, to me, is a super interesting one. Like, it really is. But I'm telling you, I think if people really were honest with themselves, if you were seeing this as if Nolan's movies didn't exist, no one would be arguing that this isn't the best Batman they've ever seen. You wouldn't be arguing it, dude. Like, you wouldn't be. But the Nolan stuff is so recent that, like, some people are just like, I can't let go of that shit. But, like, I'm not saying better or worse, whatever. You feel how you feel about it. But this is a super interesting take. Like, it is. It's a super interesting take. God damn it, I wish DC would get it together, man. Like, Jesus. This could have been the start of a fucking awesome universe for them. It really could have been.
Yeah. I agree with you now that I'm watching the scene again. I actually wish that this was in it. And if you're going to have a Joker in your movie,
right? Like, you didn't have to do it at all, but this should have been the scene,
right? This should have been the scene with the Joker. If you're going to have him in your movie, otherwise don't put him in there,
right?
But like, I would love for like this just to be like, there's a Joker scene in the Batman movies, and then all of a sudden, like, oh shit, there isn't. You know why? Because he ain't there no more.
Yeah.
Like, he's out.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, that would be kind of cool. Like, you've gotten used to seeing him like pop up in like 2 movies, and then it's like, here's a scene, like, he goes in, the fucking thing comes up, and it's like, where the fuck is the Joker? And it's like,
it was like, that's what I've been trying to tell you. He's out. Like he's gone.
Right, like, I don't have time to talk about it. I gotta go see him. And then it's just like, trying to tell you, dude, like, dude escaped. And then that's the end of the movie, and like the next movie is all him. Like, that would be a dope way to fucking do him, dude. That would be. By the way, like, that makeup is fucking wild, man. It looks really good. It looks
man.
It looks good.
It's very different because it looks like he's just been bruised and beaten up. Like, his face is like swollen on different sides, and man. Yeah. This was very interesting. Yeah. This was very, very interesting to me.
Yeah. I like it. I dug it. Very cool.
You know what's not interesting to me? Cannabis. And it shouldn't be interesting to you either.
What?
Because a cannabis-induced psychosis drives a man to, guess what? Cut off his penis. That's right.
It wasn't cannabis. No, it wasn't. I'm not buying that. That dude had something else in there.
Doctors were unable to reconstruct the man's penis as it was infested with ants. A 23-year-old man got into a cannabis-induced psychosis and completely amputated his own penis using scissors. Oh my God,
Jesus
dude.
Christ.
I thought it was just like, here's a cleaver,
like
bam,
click.
one shot.
Just like,
Nah, yo. Yeah, scissors don't cut shit well that ain't paper, yo.
oh, fucking Christ, dude. Oh, what are you doing?
The man afflicted a life-altering injury upon himself after he smoked 2 grams of marijuana, which is the equivalent of 6 joints and 2 bongs.
I mean, that's a lot of weed. Like, this is a lot of weed. No, yo, how did he even have the strength to hold up the scissors? Yo? He's like,
after 2 hours of smoking up, the man had a painful erection with severe, persistent, sharp pain in his penis. The man had an erection without sexual stimulation and developed paranoia when his glands started to look distorted. To get rid of the severe pain, the man decided to cut off his penile skin several times before amputating it completely with a pair of fucking scissors.
Yeah, I guess weed should be legal because of this lunatic. Good Lord.
Bleeding didn't stop for 2 hours.
He survived?
Yeah.
How? That's insane.
The injury left the man with a penile stump of 2 centimeters in length without the skin and 5 centimeter laceration in his ball sack. Where was this at?
Philadelphia?
In Thailand, apparently.
Oh my God.
According to doctors, the man had been using cannabis frequently for 2 years and quit using it for 3 months before he amputated his genitals. They couldn't put it back. It was too dirty and fragile. What else? Yeah. The study concluded cannabis can increase the risk of psychosis, loss of insight, and thought disorder, which can lead to unexpected behavior, including in patients who with no previous psychiatric disorders. So stay off the wacky weed.
This is not a thing.
Stay off the wacky weed. Nope, it was marijuana. It was weed.
No, it wasn't, yo. No.
Go ahead. Keep smoking your edibles and eating your joints or whatever.
Eating your joints. As you do.
And just, wear a cup when you spark up. Wear a cup when you spark up. There you go. That should be.
That's a show title. That's a show title right there. Wow. What the fuck, man?
Have you ever felt the urge to amputate yourself?
I've quite literally never. No. Oh man, Jesus Christ, dude! What are you doing? Yo, that's not just weed, yo. That's not weed. I guarantee.
It's Thai weed. It's Thai weed.
Nah,
what is weed?
Nah,
it's probably just weed with a bunch of peanut oil.
That's what you think Thai weed is.
Well, yeah, it's just weed with peanut oil and bean sprouts. That's it. That's all Thai food.
I like that Micah's idea of Thai weed is just like a papaya salad, a spicy papaya salad. I love Thai food; it's delicious. No, man, I bet that has like hash in it or something. Like something crazy was in that. There's no way, dude. That dude wanted to cut his dick off anyway. Like that was his thing that he wanted to do. Get out of here. All right, let's talk trailers. Woo, baby. First one up is the trailer for Eraser Reborn. This is for some reason a reboot of the Eraser Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. How excited are you for
Not
this,
at all.
Micah?
Not at all.
Wow. Just
not excited at all. I don't know who any of these people are. It stars Dominic Sherwood. Yeah, I don't It's directed by John Pogue. The plot centers around a secret agency that specializes in engineering the faking and specializes in engineering the faking the deaths of witnesses. Wow, what a terrible sentence. Of witnesses that need to leave no trace of their existence. What the fuck is going on, yo? Like, that's not me, yo. That's not me. It's Wikipedia, yo. It's Wikipedia. The plot centers around a secret agency that specializes in engineering the faking the deaths of witnesses that need to leave no trace of their existence. The person who is excited for this movie wrote that sentence.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So yeah, have people seen Eraser, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? You are a huge fan of that movie when it came out.
I like Eraser, man. I like Eraser. Who doesn't like Eraser, man? Like
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Look, this was the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was on his Nic Cage game. He was just doing anything.
Oh yeah.
The Sixth Day, Eraser, like just a bunch of stupid sci-fi schlock, right?
Ugh. Yeah, didn't he do one like he fought the devil at one point?
Yeah, he was what the fuck was that movie?
No, that's the Sixth Day.
The Sixth Day.
No, that's the Sixth Day. No, the Ninth Gate is with Johnny Depp, where he like had to go up against the devil. Like, I actually like that movie. It's ridiculous, but I like it. This looks like it is taking the Eraser series very seriously.
Way too seriously.
I thought this was either a Netflix movie or a series. Like, it feels like it would be a Netflix series or something. If it was, I'd be all in because I'd be like, all right, give me this schlock. But this is not for me. This is not for me. I think I'll catch this one when this one hits HBO Max or Netflix or whatever. That's when I'll check it out. Nah, I'm good.
No, I'm not going to check it out then either. I'm not going to check it out at all. Like, there's no way I'm going to watch this. Like, he gets into a fist fight with a hippopotamus. Like, nah, yo. Like, I'm not. Like, you see it here. You see it here. Like, that's not badass, yo. Like, I know hippos are like the most dangerous animal in the world. But, like, I'm not scared of them, yo. I'm not scared of them, but they're hungry hippos. And the fact that this dude is trying to punch a hippo in the face, like it's getting shouted down by a hippo, is just hilarious to me. Like, I can't take that shit seriously. I just can't. And this dude looks way too pretty to be protecting somebody, yo. Like, you look, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Oh my God.
That you can protect somebody and make somebody disappear. Your body's too small and your face is too pretty to be protected.
Your body's too small.
Man. Get out of here. You gotta have a gigantic roided out body that has come off of its cycle. So you're still kind of big for an average person, but you're small for you specifically, and you got to be named John Kruger. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, the Eraser, the original, was a lot better. He fought crocodiles in that one. This one, he's fighting hippopotamus.
He turned him into luggage. He turned him into luggage.
He did.
He ain't fight no hippo. Nobody heard of hippo skin luggage. Get out of here.
Oh my God. Yeah, no thanks. just a big fat no thanks from me. The next one up is A24's upcoming film Men. This is about a woman, ironically, who goes and stays at a house, and she meets some guy who works there, I guess, and this dude turns out to be like the dude playing the dude and the other dude. Like, he's all the dudes in this town. And he's a psychopath and he tries to murder her. I'm here for it. This is another sort of social commentary horror film about how men are dangerous from women's perspective. Look, I get it. I totally get it. This looks creepy as shit, but I like it.
When I saw the poster for this, the poster looks creepy as shit. And I was like, I'm all in, right? And then I saw the it was from Alex Garland, and I'm like, yo, Ex Machina is fucking amazing, right? And
why'd you tear up her paper? Yo, I'm about to tear up the fucking dance floor. It's still one of the greatest lines of all time, dude. I love Ex Machina. It's such a great movie.
This movie looks amazing to me.
Yeah,
I love it. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait for the backlash. I can't wait for it looks so fucking good, man.
I did like the fact that, and actually the trailer that I chose is not the full one, unfortunately, but I like that because I get emails from A24 because I subscribe to their shit, and the subject line was "Yes, all men." when they sent out the trailer for this, I was like, yeah, you know what, that's pretty clever. But I stand by the following statement: they're the best movie studio going right now. They are.
Yeah, again,
they are.
You're complaining about movies that who's gonna see the mid-budget movie, right? Like, who's gonna see? Go to A24, yo. Like every A24 movie is you will find something. You might not like everything, but you will find something that you will like.
Yeah.
And
but they're doing they're doing $30 to $50 million movies. Like, that's what this is. Right. But it looks great. It looks great.
It does. Turns out when you do a mid-budget movie that looks good, you get people to want to see it.
Right. And like, people go out to see A24 movies. Like, they do. Do people talk about them? They get real buzz. So this idea that, like, because Marvel's got, Doctor Strange coming out, nobody's going to go see this. I would. The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, absolutely. Like, get out of here. Like, I will absolutely see this. This looks great. I may or may not be able to see it in theaters just because that's just my personal availability, but I absolutely would see it in theaters. But like, I love their movies. I've only seen one A24 film that I didn't like. Everything else I've ever seen by A24 I've enjoyed.
Alex Garland has a wild like history of art, right? Like, films written and directed, right? Ex Machina, amazing, right? Phenomenal. Annihilation, pretty good, right?
I thought it was pretty good. It was okay.
Men looks amazing. Films written 28 Days Later, Sunshine.
Yep.
Never Let Me Go. I don't know what that is.
Dread. I forget what Never Let Me Go is. I'm confused with something else. Go ahead.
It's Never Let Me Go is a British dystopian romantic tragedy.
Okay, it's
based
not the
on
movie.
a novel.
All right, not what.
Dread.
Yep.
TV series. Devs. I heard Devs is really good.
I've watched some of Devs. It is very good. It's very heavy. Like, did you like Ex Machina? Well, fucking prepare to get your fucking shit blown. Watching Devs. Like, Devs is somewhere between like Severance and Ex Machina. Kind of like that.
Okay. And then video games. He worked on Enslaved Odyssey to the West, which is weird. Starring the dude that played almost called him Jeffrey. Alfred. Starring the dude that played Alfred in the Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And DMC Devil May Cry, the weird one.
Well, I mean, look at Annihilation. That's pretty fucking weird. That's a weird movie. But
look,
he's all over.
I like everything. I like everything that I read, man. Like, I can't wait for this movie, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
But again, and look, I'm sure people would think that we would think that Disney is the best movie studio out there. Nah, it's A24. It is.
Yeah, because they're delivering a wide range of film that, for the most part, are just phenomenal stuff, man.
Yeah, it's just like hit after hit after hit, man. Like, they just, because, and what I like about them is they don't stick to one genre. They don't stick to one genre. Like, I heard Red Rocket is hilarious and super good. But it's a comedy. Like, it's mostly a comedy. Like, but then they'll do this and The Green Knight, which I still haven't had a chance to watch yet, which is a real shame. But like they'll do those kind of things, like they'll just go for broke, man. Like it's funny because they started out as like kind of importing films from overseas and kind of distributing them in the US. And then they started making their own stuff, and then they just they fucking took off. So good for them. I like it. I will absolutely watch Men.
Fuck, Everything Everywhere All at Once came out today.
That's A24 as well.
Yep. God, I might try to watch that tomorrow.
I'm probably not anywhere near a place that has it, unfortunately. But I will look. That one I might have to wait till like 45 days. By the time I think about it again, it'll be out. So it's fine. All right, that's it for us. Any other parting words there, Micah?
No. Eat your vitamins and drink your Wheaties. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Wear a cup when you spark up. That's fucking funny. All right, that's it for us. We will see you guys next week.
See ya.